Beginner's Guide to Badminton. We're going to start with one of these. This lovely little thing. Obviously a badminton racket. I'd be surprised if you didn't know that. You'd be a bit worried because maybe you were thinking of a different sport. But either way, racket. Now, we obviously hit with this part of it, the strings. Generally speaking, when you first start badminton, you go into a shop and you get a lot of information about a racket. There is far too much to take in. Head heavy, head light, what it's made out of, what the grip's like, usually in this country G3 or G4, but that doesn't mean a lot to anyone, does it? It means nothing. So when you go and look, just pick them up, try them out, feel it. Yes, it's hard because it usually has a cardboard cutout on them, but just feel whether it feels okay in your hands. Now, whatever the case, when I would first start, I wouldn't spend any more than 40 or 50 pounds. You don't need to. You're not at the level where you need to be spending hundreds on a racket. It doesn't automatically make you better. So, once we've got our racket, is there anything we need to change? Not really. It comes with 18, well, maybe slightly less, but depending on the racket, 18 to 22 pounds of tension on the strings. Now, it takes time and they get less and less tension, much like a tennis or squash racket. It's fine to begin with. You don't need any higher, so don't worry about it getting restrung or anything else to do with it. Just have your racket the same as it is. Now, the grip, as you can see there, I have added another grip. They only cost £1, maybe £2. Obviously, depending on which country you're in, maybe not £1, maybe whatever it is in your country. However, it's not hard to do. You just wrap the original grip so you make sure that the original grip is covered so it won't be damaged, and you put a new one on. It takes 30 seconds. Just make sure you get somebody to show you how to do it first. Once you know how to do it, yeah, by all means do it yourself. You can always get somebody to do it in a shop, sport shop. They usually know how to do it. Not always, but most of the time. Now, that's the racket. Like I said, don't spend any more than 40 or 50 pounds. You do not need to. More or less, when you are a beginner, just have a look at the main rackets in your country. So, this country, the UK, we're usually looking at Yonex being a good make. The other good makes in other countries, Victor and Li Ning. They're probably the three best known. There are loads of others. Don't be afraid to have a look at Wilson, Apex, anything like that. Doesn't matter. But just still focus on that £40 and try and make sure you get it from a proper seller, not off eBay where they might be a fake. Okay, so the next thing we need to play badminton. Ali, shut up. Oh God. Now, this shuttle is a feather shuttle. It is a Yonex AS30, very expensive in the sense of over £20 a tube, probably about 30. Now, what I would suggest for you, if you go into a store in Northampton itself, not that you will have any one of these, there is a John Henry Sports. You might have a Sports Soccer or Sports Direct, I think it's called now, and they sell plastic and feather. They sell some Carlton feather, which are fine. They're usually about £15. Or you could get plastic. Plastic are better for beginners. They are slower, and they do not break anywhere near as much as feather. So as a beginner, I would probably fork out about £7.99 on a tube of about 5 plastic shuttles. Now you can get different speeds. You've got different colours as well. Blue is your normal, and then you've got red, which is fast. There might be a slower speed, I'm unsure, as I have never seen one, so I could be wrong. I'd usually go for blue, get 5, and away you go as far as the racket and shuttle is concerned. Now, obviously, that means you can go away on your own and you can just hit it up in the air or hit it against a wall. Obviously, with a feather, that's going to break very quickly. So with a plastic, it would last a lot longer. Okay, on to the badminton court. Now, as you can see, we're in a big pool. is empty. I scared everybody off. I joked, I didn't. What we have is 4 badminton courts. Most sports centres will have badminton courts. There's some that will have 6, some will have 8, some will just have 4. Some might even just have 2. Now, on average, certainly in the Northampton area, a court will cost £9 per hour. A little bit expensive if you ask me, but if you obviously have 4 of you, it's not that much. It's only a couple of quid each, so it's not too bad. Now, it also depends on the quality. Don't worry about it too much. When you're a beginner, it's not important. Okay? Just go and play, hire a court. The other places that might have them are old churches. Now, there's not many left in the sense of letting them out for badminton use. Old halls and old churches can be used depending on where you are. If they're in the middle of nowhere, you might not have a choice. Now, the other thing, if you are playing on different halls, you will want shoes. Now, if you don't have proper badminton shoes, you will find the floor very slippery and you might damage your ankle or fall over or whatever. So you might want some indoor. So you will see that the back, or bottom rather, is different. Okay? And that gives you grip on the inside. Tennis shoes, although I've tried to play in them, they give you grip fine, but they also aren't built for indoors. So you may find they don't have as much give in them. Just be aware of that. Now, again, badminton shoes aren't cheap. I mean, they usually start about £35 plus. They go all the way up to about 140. Obviously, if you're a beginner, look at the lower end. They will last you as long as you're playing. They'll probably last, depending on how much you play a week, say once or twice, maybe less, then fair enough, but they will probably only last a year. Sometimes more, sometimes less. Again, as I say, it depends on how much you play. But again, you're looking at about less than 40 quid. Now, you don't need them. You can get away with trainers. You can get away with running trainers. You can get away with Adidas, Asics, Nike, whatever you want to call it. But just be aware they might be, because you have to stop suddenly and change direction suddenly, you might actually wreck them. Whereas these are built for that. Obviously, mine have seen better days, but yeah, what are you going to do? Just a few other things I'd like to mention. One, when we first come to play, you might have a few friends. You might have just you and one friend, depending on whether you want to play singles or doubles or who's available. Now, what I mean by that is the fact that you and your friend might know how to play and the other two don't, or you might not have to score, the other two don't. Now, to score, it's very easy these days. It didn't used to be, it used to be quite confusing. However, that's changed. So nowadays, during the war, we start on the right-hand side. So when it's 0-0, we start on the right-hand side. In singles, we would serve from here, wherever that may go. If we lose the point, they're now on one, and they will serve from the left-hand side. If we win the point, we would serve on the left-hand side. Very easy in singles, simply because it's now rally scoring, which means whoever loses a point, obviously the other person gains the point. But more importantly, you always serve from the right-hand side when it's even numbers, 2, 4, 6, 8, we appreciate. And on the left, the odds, so your 1s, your 3s, your 5s, your 7s, your 9s. Very basic. Now, if there's a couple of you and you're not bothered about scoring, then by all means, hit it to each other, if that's all you can do. However, obviously, if you're doing it for fitness or you're doing it because you want to improve your fitness or ability, then try and hit into space. It's very key. If we can hit away from our opponent, it means they have to move. That means they would have to get better at that shot, therefore you would have to get better because they would play a better shot, and so on and so forth. Now, obviously, you can join a club. In England, you can actually look on the Badminton England website, and they list all the clubs in your local area. Most sports do. Table tennis, they all do the same as well. Obviously, with badminton, I'd say there's probably quite a few, but just be aware that some clubs are bigger than others, so you might end up waiting off, or others have only just started up, so you might get to know some good friends. Okay, last but not least, we have one thing. The score in itself goes to 21. So the end score might be 21-19, might be close, 21-10, it could happen. 21-2 even, depending on who you play. Maybe get somebody closer to your ability, unless you're trying to improve. Now, if you don't have anybody, as sad as that may seem, you can join a club as I mentioned. You can hit against the wall, providing you're using plastics, not feathers, because that would just break them. Or you can just hire the court and practice serve, which we will cover in another video. Okay, I hope you enjoyed Beginner's Guide to Badminton. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.